on this edition of In the Life.
Constitutional countdown in Hawaii. Seniors search for security, gay history, and histrionics on stage.
What I was satisfied.
And Southern Baptists in defense of gay men and lesbians.
There are Baptist churches where you're welcome and received.
All up next on the season premiere of In the Life.
"100 years ago, gay marriage would have been unthinkable. But even back then, there were couples who had, although not easily, long-term relationships. Two women who built a life together a century ago are the subjects of a history-in-the-making opera that premiered in New York this year as part of Lincoln Center's Summer Festival. Here's correspondent Darius DeHaas with the story.
Patience and Sarah had its beginnings as an underground novel written by Isabel Miller. The book, which quickly became a cult classic, was based on the real-life story of folk artist Mary Ann Wilson and her companion, Miss Brundage. For some, including Wendy Persons, the librettist of Patience and Sarah, these 19th century lesbian pioneers have become heroes and muses.
I think we're looking for lesbian folk heroes. I think we need lesbian folk heroes in our life, and to find seeds and to find sources, to find people like Mary Ann Wilson and Miss Brundage is very inspiring to us.
An exhibition of Mary Ann Wilson's work was mounted at the Museum of American Folk Art across the street from Lincoln Center in conjunction with the festival. Laurie Phillips, who plays Patience in the opera, drew her inspiration from the paintings by Patience's real-life counterpart.
It was amazing to see some of the color choices. I think that it helped me to identify the character in her choices, her bold choices.
I love the book Patience and Sarah. I've loved it since I read it in the early 1970s. And in 1981, I had a mad crush on a soprano who said to me, "Wouldn't Patience and Sarah make a great opera?" And I thought, yeah. And I went home and immediately sat down and wrote the libretto. I had never thought about writing an opera libretto before. I'm an opera fan. I'm a fan of the book Patience and Sarah, and I desperately wanted to impress the soprano. And that's how it all started.
When I met Wendy in 1989, within a few minutes of my telling her I'm a composer, she said she had a libretto to Patience and Sarah. And since I was a composer, maybe I could write this opera.
I love the way Isabel Miller has written the words. I was able to lift dialogue intact over and over and over again from the book. And then Paula added the music to them, and suddenly they took on a whole new life of their own. This is something that music does to a piece anyway, to add a layer of emotion, the depth of emotion that comes with music.
The scene in which Patience and Sarah kiss for the first time is very important because it pushes us right through the doorway. If we were still wondering, is this going to be a story where the women are really close but we don't really know? Or is this really going to be an openly sexual lesbian relationship we're talking about here? And with that kiss, you know we're going to portray this. This is not going to be fried green tomatoes, where we love this story and these women are having such an interesting... Do you think they're gay? No, we know what this story is from that moment.
Interestingly enough, even though the subject matter, the lesbian subject matter, is fairly radical, our opera, Patience and Sarah, is very traditional. I'm very old-fashioned. I like stories, and Patience and Sarah is a story. Girl meets girl, girl loses girl, girl gets girl. 3 acts, plain and simple. I've found a number of people who have been frightened by the idea that it's an opera. But everyone who comes is drawn into the story and loves the music. You know, maybe people laugh a little bit at the beginning when they go, oh my gosh, they're singing, they're sopranos. But within minutes, you can hear a pin drop.
I am completely knocked out. I think it's absolutely wonderful. The costumes, the set, the way the people move on stage, the music itself, and the story. It's just wonderful. Totally delightful.
Well, I think it's the first lesbian-themed opera, and that has a certain sociological value. To me, the most exciting thing is that it's beautiful to listen to.
Women's voices have sounded together in other operas, not quite in the explicit romantic way that they do in Patience and Sarah. In many operas, a woman is playing a man. She gets to sing a duet with a woman who's playing a woman. They get to sing really gorgeous music together. I'm sure I'm not aware of any other operas where it is as two women being two women, making love to each other and singing. That I don't think that's ever been done before in a full-length opera.
Patience and Sarah ran for 3 incredible nights in June to sold-out audiences in New York City. But, as composer Paula Kemper told us, the beautiful thing about opera is that it's a repeatable experience. Maybe it will come to your town next. For In the Life, I'm Darius DeHaas.